Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
All right. What is up, everyone? It is Monday. It has been weeks since ASAP After Dark has been on, but we are back with a full crew. We even got Jay McLovin in the house. Jay, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. I really kind of thought I was going to be able to give Frankie a lot of grief. It had his Yankees play today and they lost, but sadly, because they don't have a damn roof, we got to wait till tomorrow before we even get the last game of that series. So Frankie bought another day before his team goes down like the stepchildren they are. But yeah, other than that, man, it's freaking wonderful. Freaking wonderful.
Awesome. And then, of course, we have the Sensei back with us. Last time we did the show, it was just Ron and I, but luckily we got the Sensei back. Sensei, congratulations, by the way. Tell everybody the big news that you got.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tony. Appreciate it. First, thank you guys for having me. It's so dope to be back. But the big news is starting in December, I will be in the media room for the Sacramento Kings. I don't know how many games just yet, but I know I will be starting to do that in December. So I'm kind of just getting everything underway. But yes, I officially got my credentials accepted. So yeah, we getting our foot in the door, man. Making stuff happen.
Awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah, let's go all day.
And then, of course, we got the man himself. We got Ron back with us again. Ron, brother, how are you today? I like the background. We got a new background going on. You got the Air Force hat up there in the corner. You got the neon sign going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to be the best version of me to end the year. How I'm feeling is like a Targaryen. Dracarys! I'm ready for this.
I like it.
I like the happy hour sign, Ron. That's a nice addition.
Speaking of happy hour, I was not ready for Jay to be on the show tonight. I had already I feel too much to drink. When I saw Jay, I was like, oh, this is about to be madness.
Hey, listen, man. I try to do whatever I can to keep you awake, Ron, because half the time when I be watching, I don't know if you're awake, sleeping, induced. I don't know what's going on, man. But it's good to see your pupils are fully there and functioning.
For now.
For now.
That's my boy, man. Damn.
All right. So let's jump into this weekend. We had one heck of a crazy weekend in college football, in the NFL. John Suggs pointed out the only game he got wrong this weekend was Wisconsin didn't show up to play Michigan State. I'm not upset. And I have crazy people. You had Ed Gein, you got Dahmer, you have my ex-wife. Wisconsin, not a good place to be. You don't want to be up in Wisconsin right now. But we ain't going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the game that truly mattered this weekend that I was so ecstatic happened, and that is the Crimson Tide fell to the Tennessee Volunteers. It was a beautiful weekend. Alabama falls to them for the first time in the Nick Saban era in 15 years. Jay, since you're our guest, I'm going to start with you. What's your take on the Tennessee Volunteers beating the Alabama Crimson Tide?
Yeah, a couple of things. Honestly, I think this is the week that I really should have gone to Vegas and put down some money because I did really well, man. Real fast. I did bet on Tennessee to win. I bet TCU. I bet Utah. And I bet Kentucky. And I mean, I was on Tony. I ain't never really been on fire, but this week, I'm telling you, I was on fire. I got a friend of mine, she's a diehard volunteer fan. She went to the Tennessee. She played for the softball team there at University of Tennessee. Great woman. But man, I tell you, I went to church. I prayed on it at the altar. I put my tithes in the tithes box, and yeah, man, it came to fruition, man. Tennessee did what they needed to do, and Hooker, man, I'm telling you, if he didn't make a case for the Heisman, I don't know what more he has to do at this point. When you go almost 400 yards with 5 touchdowns and you only give the ball up once, and then you rush for 56, what more do you want him to do? The next biggest star would have been Gibbs for Alabama. But man, what a day that Hyatt had at 207-5. I mean, Hyatt just put on a clinic. Hooker put on a clinic. And yeah, your boys went down. And I will tell you this, Tony, the last thing I want to say, and I'm going to end it on this, it's not like Nick Saban run teams to be undisciplined in the realm of penalties. But when you get 17 penalties for 130 damn yards, what the hell are you thinking you're going to do? You couldn't look. They barely nipped Texas. They barely nipped A&M. You ain't going to barely nip Tennessee with Hooker coming to play. What a time to be alive. Roll Tide my ass.
America win. We all win.
Exactly, Ron. Go ahead. And to Jay's point, Alabama leads the nation in penalties right now with 66 penalties throughout the 6 games that they've played. So, it's ugly. Ron,
practice got to be rough. They play with all pads all week.
Exactly, Ron. What's your take on all of this going down?
I'm happy. I'm excited. I just got one question. Are we ever gonna get the dang field goal post back? Like we have to.
Oh no, they're burning. They are burning in the bars right now.
Yep, those
You'll be
gone.
damned if you ever even see them. Matter of fact, you probably find Jimmy Hoffa where that goalpost used to be.
Tennessee was supposed to lose 3 weeks ago, Sensei. I'm just proud of them. They deserve to be in the playoff. I don't know how it's going to be 4 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
That's insane.
Sensei, what's your take? And do you think, because again, this is probably one of the most undisciplined teams we've ever seen, and like Jay said, you barely skate past Texas with a backup quarterback playing a majority of the game, and of course a super controversial non-safety call. His shin was down, but they didn't call it. But was he down? That whole entire thing. You barely beat a Texas A&M team that has struggled all year. So they've limped through all of this. And I know some Bama fans will tell me it's injury. No. I've had other Bama fans tell me, nope, this is absolutely the best Alabama team they've seen in years. And I'm like, that cannot be true. Like, I don't like that just can't be true. Like some of these other names that they've had, you look at John Mechie, Williamson, Devontae Smith, like those were big names. We don't have as big of those names now on Alabama. So Sensei, is Nick Saban starting to falter a little bit now in 2022?
Yeah, I'm gonna go big picture here, and where I think this is the turn of the tide, no pun intended, because I think, and this is what I believe this is why Nick Saban was so outspoken over the summer. I don't know if you guys remember over the controversy. Sorry, I couldn't get it out. Controversy with Deion Sanders and JSU getting the number one recruit, because now with this NIL and things of that nature, that playing field is even now. So now these top talents aren't just trying to go to Alabama. They're going to the Tennessees. They're going to the FSUs. They're going to, the JSUs. They're going to all of these different schools. So now the talent is spread out. Now it's an even playing field. Alabama is not the mystery figure it used to be anymore, and teams aren't scared of Alabama anymore either. I think it's something it's happening in college football that is happening in women's college basketball, is because like UConn is like the top dog in women's college basketball, but as of late, teams have been able to take them out. And I feel like with Alabama, it's kind of the same thing. It's been the past couple of years, they've been getting beat by teams that they would normally smoke. And it's because these teams aren't walking in and looking at it like, oh my God, it's Alabama. It's like, okay, it's another day, it's another team. And I think that's why we're seeing the results that we're seeing. Tennessee played out of their minds. Honestly, Jay, I agree with you. Hooker definitely boosted his Heisman his Heisman consideration for the year, but I think Hyatt could be considered in that as well. Because from that game alone,
yeah, I agree with you totally.
How many receivers have you seen get 5 touch? The same person is that dominated Alabama throughout that entire game. Like he had 5. One person had 5 touchdowns against an Alabama team. That, which I mean, Nick Saban is predicated on defense. Like that's what I mean. He has great teams, but what he does, what his specialty is defense. And this guy just made them look like amateurs. He made it look like it was just another walk in the park. I mean, every touchdown he was getting, it was like, again, like, does anybody not see the pattern here? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy because I'm gonna tell you right now, that defense, even Nick Saban said his defense was soft. Like honestly, they call him Charmin 2-ply. And I'll be honest with you, at this time, that secondary is still on fire, and they're looking for fire extinguishers to put that secondary out after Hyatt torched the shit out of them.
Literally, I mean, honestly, like I said, it was a great game. You know, us as fans, we definitely got treated with that game because it was high scoring. You know what I'm saying? And we got to see, some really good football. But at the end of the day, like Tennessee is for real. Tennessee is serious. A lot of people, like Ron was saying, had been counting Tennessee out and not expected them to be in this position to even compete with them, and let alone beat them. So I'm really happy for them for sure. But yeah, I think we're gonna see a transition in college football these next couple of years, guys. I think the talent is gonna be spread pretty wide throughout teams, and Alabama's not gonna be the powerhouse that we are accustomed to for at least the next, I said, 3 to 4 years. They're not gonna drop completely off. You know, they're always gonna be in the running. Obviously, it's still Alabama, but it's just not as clear cut as it used to be.
Yeah, I think if I may, Tony, you know, as much as Nick Saban bitch, gripe, and complain to Jimbo Fisher about NIL and him buying a team, I love how when they asked him to turn over his records, it was crickets. All of it was crickets.
It was crickets and apologies, because you see he apologized to Deion immediately, because once Deion said, well, I mean, if you want to talk about me, let's talk about you. You want to pull my cards on the table. Then all of a sudden it was like, I didn't mean to offend anybody. I bet you didn't.
Well, it's funny, you know, Nick Saban has openly talked about how he hates the NIL deals, but if you look at it, who has been the biggest mastery of NIL for the last 15 freaking years? Nick damn Saban.
Listen, the only difference is he's been doing NIL, it just wasn't legal yet.
Exactly.
Let's just call it what it is, because do you think he was really getting those top recruits off of going into these houses, these African American kids, going into these hoods, not neighborhoods, these hoods, going into these hoods, sitting on grandma's couch? You think just Nick Saban alone was enough? Grandma got a light bill that's a couple months behind. You think he wasn't paying that? Like let's I'm just being real. Like let's talk about it. Like if
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
John Suggs brings up a couple good points. He said, can we agree no one played defense in that game? 455 yards for Young, 385 for Hooker. He has Hooker and Drake May as Raiders with Bo Nix third, and the running back on Michigan, you know, Blake Corum. I don't know. Up until that game, the only person I had for sure as my Heisman winner at the current moment was CJ Stroud from Ohio State. And that's just purely from a statistical point. He's thrown a crazy amount of touchdowns, like basically no interception so far. And again, it's not like Bryce doesn't have the stats. It's his team is also coming very close in, you know, just barely getting those wins in their column. John also said, I wouldn't be surprised if Bama loses 1, possibly 2 more games this season. There's a lot of people think that as it stands in the top 25 right now, there's only 2 teams in the top 10 that have 1 loss, and that's Alabama at 6-1. They're ranked number 6 right now, and the Oregon Ducks at 10, and they're 5-1 currently, but both having lost against, you know, Georgia for Oregon to start the season, and then Alabama just this past weekend. And John mentioned as well, to Sensei's point, it's funny how Bryce Young got a $1 million deal last year, and everybody forgot about that. So
because it's like that I don't know if you guys on TikTok are on TikTok, but it's like that sound that's been going around. It's a problem. It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. Like that, it's pretty much the same. It's essentially the same thing. Like that's the Nick Saban's mentality. It was all good when he was getting the top 10 recruits every year, and everybody else was left to dig through the scraps. But once it became now these players are accessible to everybody, then it became whoa. There's a problem here. What about the kids? What about the education? Like Shannon Sharp said the other day, please tell me a time college football has been about education.
Yep.
Like, what are we talking about here? College football is about entertainment. Who can we get on the field to entertain and bring more money to our school and bring more top recruits to our school? That's what it's about. That's what it's always going to be about. So let's stop playing these games. Like, just say that you're mad because you were losing out on, you lost out on the number one pick that you thought you were entitled to. That's what the problem is. It ain't NIL. It's the entitlement.
Exactly. So we'll move on to another college team that honestly surprised me a little bit this weekend. And Ron and I talked about this. The Michigan Wolverines rolled over Penn State. Now, this was really, to me, the game that was going to kind of determine how Michigan was going to go this season. Because, I mean, you think about it, the first few weeks, they beat up cupcake teams. You beat up Hawaii. You beat up UConn. You beat up Colorado State. You haven't beat anybody of any significance, but you beat the snot out of them regardless. In the last couple weeks, they face Maryland and they face Indiana, and they struggle. Now, Maryland is a little bit better than people probably give them credit for. They've got some really good talent out there. You know, you have Talia Tungavailoa, Tua's younger brother, who's played very well for Maryland since leaving Bama. And, of course, coming into this game, Michigan said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to run all over Penn State. They ended up actually hurting Sean Clifford, the quarterback, so the backup ended up having to come in. But, you know, Michigan rallies 41-17 win. And where is our Michigan fan? Where did Ron go? Ron.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, he had to get the hoodie.
Okay.
Just for our cupcake schedule.
Ron, you can't tell me that UConn, Colorado State, and Hawaii are like football powerhouses that are just like killing it against everybody right now.
And we're being disrespected. I swear we was the second best team last year. I'm sick of it.
Oh. All right.
I don't know about all that, but okay.
Say your piece, sir, about your Michigan Wolverines.
I'm just gonna have to say CJ Stroud, that's the Ohio State quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm happy I got his name right because I don't care to watch him. I don't care to root for him. I don't want to check him out because you still have to beat us, and we'll see you shortly. Somebody give Harbaugh a raise. He was about to.
Now,
guys, how long have Michigan Wolverines? Tony, you know, we've suffered for a long time.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
The last 10 years Harbaugh's been coach, y'all have sucked.
Used to wake up some morning and just be like, why do I like Michigan again? I could go like any other team.
Damn, coach. Damn, what a time to be alive in this world.
And keep in mind, Ron, your coach almost tried to abandon you for Minnesota. He thought he had that job locked up, but then I think what it was they were like, I don't know if we want to hire him or not. And then he also was like, wait, who's my quarterback? Kirk Cousins? Nah, fam, I'm out. No, I don't want that. I don't want to.
And honestly, I don't blame him because who wants to coach Kirk Cousins? Like what?
Exactly. You don't know what you're getting.
Hey, watch this. Hey, Sensei, you ready? Hey, you ready for me to put the bullet in the forehead? Watch this. No pun intended, by the way. Unless it's a rubber bullet or a Nerf bullet, because we are non-violent here after dark.
Yes,
but listen.
Just
Hey, I got a proposition. If you don't mind, I got a proposition for both Ron and Tony as we discussed in the pre-show.
Oh no.
Hey, watch this. If Ohio wins, Ron Love's got to do 2 hours in the McCamey house in Tennessee.
Oh.
And then vice versa. If Michigan wins, Dahmer's got to do 2 hours.
Not Dahmer. Not Dahmer.
He got to do 2 hours. Hey, he got to do 2 hours in the McCamey house in Tennessee. Now, who really believes in their school?
They're cutting folks' hair off, eyebrows off, giving us all kinds of drugs and whipping us.
Viewers of ASAP After Dark, please look up this house and just look at it really quick and just give us a comment on next show. Give us what your thoughts and your takes on this situation.
Hey, man,
you be able to do it for $20,000 because me personally, I'm gonna need some more money.
And I just want to preface that with viewer discretion is advised. If you are not at least 18, do not watch that video. Which I know that immediately has everybody that is underage wanting to go look that video. So you do you.
Yeah, it's like Tony. Don't tell me not to go look
but-
at porn. I'm probably gonna go look at porn. But hold on. What I'm saying is this, Ron. How much do you believe in your school? Like, really, how much do you believe?
Ron got back, so you might want to be careful, Jay.
I know.
No. I told him to go away. How much do I believe? I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many yards did Blake Corum run for this past weekend?
The who?
Blake Corum.
The running
Oh,
back.
Blake Corum. I'm sorry. Man, I don't even know. I get it written down, damn it, somewhere.
I like to round up. Let's just say 500 yards.
Yeah, I don't have that one written down, but I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you at your word on that.
It was like 428.
So to give you an idea, the Michigan's backup running back, Donovan Edwards, carried it 16 times, ran 173 yards, got 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum ran it 28 times, 166 yards for 2 touchdowns. And the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, ran it 7 times for 57 yards. So
that was our total yards.
All total, Michigan ran for 418 yards on Penn State.
Yeah, and that's why I did say that I felt like Penn State had the better run or passing game, but Michigan had the better rushing game in that matchup. Their rushing game was on point, no doubt about it.
I apologize. I don't know why I thought Blake Corum had all those yards. I had already given him the Heisman and everything.
I don't know if I'm giving him the Heisman just yet. Hey, hold off on the Heisman.
Definitely the top candidate.
Oh, for sure.
Listen, hold off on the Heisman. If he did that against Bama or Georgia or Ohio, okay, yeah, then we're talking Heisman. He did it against Penn State. Nothing against wrong Penn State, but come on, let's not go Heisman.
This
just
is disrespect that I talk about. No.
Although, Ron, I will say I don't think he'll get it, and I only say that because of my man last year from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker. That man ran 5 touchdowns all over the soon-to-be Big Ten champ Michigan Wolverines. That man didn't even get invited to New York for nothing.
The interesting thing about that is Michigan's going to play, or Michigan has already played Penn State. Then they got Ohio at the end of the year.
Yep.
And same thing with Ohio. So, I mean, honestly, those are really, honestly, both you guys' biggest games, with the exception of, I believe, Ohio. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ohio did get Notre Dame number 5 at the beginning, but we all know that Notre Dame was a softie anyway, because look where they are. So I don't know if even though they're ranked number 5, I don't know if we're going to put that as a top matchup, even though they're a ranked team. But again, the true testament will come at the end of the season if Ohio can get past Penn State, which I think they will. Don't get me wrong. But then again, at the end of the year, Michigan will play Ohio, and we'll see. We will see.
Sensei, you're a neutral party. What's your take on the big blue of Michigan?
I think for me, I just need to see them. I just need for them to have one more test and them to pass that test. So I don't know who that test is going to be against, just because their schedule is. I mean, they have some games that can be that testing factor. You know what I'm saying, as far as during their schedule. But I need to see them to be in more adverse situations more than once and to overcome that. Like I saw Michigan beating Penn State personally. I thought that they were gonna. Now the 41-17 that shocked me, but I definitely saw them beating them. But I just need to see them in a more one of those games that they're supposed to win, but it's like it's super competitive. Like I need to see that edge. Like what's gonna separate them from the other teams in their conference? And I just feel like they need to have one more test to kind of show me that. That's just me. I'm not down on your team, Ron. I'm not saying I don't have belief in them, but I'm just saying I just need to see them go through that fire one more time.
It hurts. It hurts. And it is. It's Michigan disrespect. But we did this to ourselves. I'm sorry,
Rob, but I love you though.
And I will say I did not give Michigan credit. They did manage to topple Iowa, albeit Iowa's offense is essentially non-existent. their defense is still one of the best in the country, and Michigan was still able to get the win against Iowa. So, I mean, they've had really, I'm going to say, 2 tough tests so far, and they passed both against Iowa and Penn State so far. So,
well, they do have Michigan State coming up week 9. I'm just looking at their schedule right now. They do have Michigan State coming up. That could be one of them because that's a game that you have to win. And then they have Rutgers after that, which they're going to beat Rutgers. But then they have Nebraska, which I think that they'll beat Nebraska as well. Those are pretty easy games. But they do have a 6-1 Illinois team coming up week 12. So that could be one of those games that that could jump out at people as to far to that's the measuring stick to see where Michigan really is at right there. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that game because Illinois is kind of a slept on team, but they're a pretty solid football team. So
I do want to give Ron some props. So I felt like Michigan has gone to date against a little bit better competition than Ohio has. With the exception,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, you beat Notre Dame by 11, but honestly, if you see the way Notre Dame is playing, I felt like you should have beat them by much more than just 11 points.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Again, I think Ohio, maybe the where they're at is a little inflated. Maybe Michigan is a little bit more honest, given the schedule that they played. But again, nobody's going to know the difference with Ohio until you go up against that Penn State. And again, you got Iowa. Then you got Penn State, and then at the end you got Michigan. So Ohio is still your test is coming, and it's coming very shortly. To really find out who Ohio really is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll move on from college. We'll move on to the NFL. I'm gonna switch up topics a little bit here, but not too crazy. Just because on top of an Alabama loss, there's another thing that brought me the biggest and greatest joy in my heart. Jay, I don't think I told you this, but this should be pretty easy for you to cover. And that this man might own the Chicago Bears, but the state of New York owns this man. This man is Karen Rodgers herself. Lost to the New York Jets.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Lost to the Giants in London the previous week.
What a time.
And I have to say, I've already contacted my local production factory of all the milk cartons to put Karen Rodgers' picture on it to see where she is at. Because the back.
Oh, you know where she's at, Tony. He don't come out and say where he's at.
Exactly.
He told you where. No, Tony. He told you. He said specifically because he's not gonna put the blame on himself. He specifically said if the Packers don't do something in the off season, he's gonna freaking retire.
Mm-hmm.
He done told you where he's at.
Or maybe. I mean, but it's like maybe it's not like he had a receiver that he could have got paid first before himself. Oops. Oh, he did.
Sensei, we don't go there, Sensei. That's a sensitive subject matter.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot.
That's super sensitive. Super sensitive.
I'm sorry.
And I mean, it's not like he's done that for the last 5 years that they could have kept receivers. Maybe if he could have been a little bit nicer to his organization and say, "Hey, could you please draft me somebody? Hold on. I'll take a cut in order to get somebody better."
Hold on off on the carrot. Who did the Green Bay Packers draft 2 years ago with their first round pick?
I know. I'm still at who.
I think he's sitting on the bench watching.
Jordan Love, the future.
Funny how all of a sudden he wanted to retire, and then when they got this person in question, he all of a sudden unretired, and that was off the table.
Oh no! That game was so bad that Jordan Love actually did get a few reps in at the end of the game. That's how beautiful it was.
Listen here, this is a open display of shooting yourself in the foot being played out on national TV. Because at the end of the day, the Packers are where they are offensively because of Aaron Rodgers. It starts at 12, it ends at 12. But you had opportunities to, like Tony said, re-sign one of the top receivers in the league in Devontae Adams. You actually told him that you were going to hold off on your contract until he got paid. You did not do that. You hit a reverse Uno card and decided to get paid instead. And now he's with the Oakland Raiders, which, I mean, he's still Devontae Adams, but that situation ain't really that much better. But let's keep it a band. I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers would love to have him back in Green Bay, and he'd love to be back in Green Bay. Because at the end of the day, they made a nice tandem. On top of that, you could have got. I mean, there's so many other places on the offensive end as far as running backs. As far as you didn't have to go the young receiver route, but you decided you wanted to get paid. So it was either they pay you and bring in a bunch of young guys, and you pretty much go through a rebuilding stage, or you take a pay cut, and you know what I'm saying, you get some veteran guys in there. You keep Devontae Adams, and you have another shot at the running of a Super Bowl. But this is, and you know, I know everybody feels how they feel about Tom Brady, but this is the one thing that separates him from most quarterbacks. Tom Brady will take a pay cut to ensure that he's going to get the pieces around him that he needs to contend for a championship every single year. Tom Brady has never maxed himself out. Tom Brady has never got the 5-year, $200 million. He's never done that. Give me 3 years, couple 60 million, 40 million, whatever the case may be, however they slice it up. But give me my receivers, give me my offensive line, give me my defense, give me my coach, and watch us make a run for the Super Bowl. Point blank here.
I agree with you. I totally agree with that.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers could be that same way because he is that caliber of talent. But Aaron Rodgers is about Aaron Rodgers. That's the problem.
All about Aaron Rodgers.
He's about himself. If it just
he's so about Aaron Rodgers. I believe, and I do believe, he did extend the either phone call or text message to Devontae Adams before he took that contract on. And I do believe it with something like this. Yo, Devontae, man, you're my boy, Blue. I love you. We had a good run. You've always been there for me. I got my whole career based off of you, and everybody loves you. Oh, by the way, though, I'm going to suck the life financially out of this organization. So you may want to pack your bags. I don't know where you're going. I don't even really care. I just want you to know that I'm going to take every last dime that this organization has, and you're going to be left holding the bag, Bubba. By the way, my bag's Louis Vuitton. I hope it's not too heavy for you when you carry it.
Yeah.
Good
and
God.
You know what's even funnier?
That's even saying that he reached out to him. I mean, even saying he reached out to him.
Maybe he did. I'm just giving it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's being considerate because I feel like it went how they said it went. How pretty much where it was, you know, they had a conversation and it was like, all right, I'm going to let you sign, get your money first, and then I'm going to sign and get my money. And then he went behind Devontae's Adams' back, probably went into the office or called, however he did it, and was like, give me my money. I want my money. And didn't care how it was going to make Devontae Adams feel, didn't care what position or predicament it was going to put him in. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers wakes up every day and says, how can I make you better? Not how can I make everybody else better, but how can I make you better? And that's just what it is. And you can see that. There's a reason why he only has one Super Bowl in, a decade? A decade
right.
plus? Yeah. There's a reason for that.
And so John put the question out there: should Green Bay sign OBJ? The answer to that is yes. They should. But you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to sign him. And you want to know why, John? Because Green Bay is kind of like this is like a really nasty divorce between, you know, two lovers, and it's just who can stick it to who the worst. Aaron, you know, takes all the money, and then Green Bay says, okay, Aaron, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to trade your boy out because now we can't afford to pay him. And not only are we going to trade him, but now the 2 first-round picks that we have in a very wide receiver-heavy draft, you know what we're going to draft first? Defense. You know what we're going to get to a wide receiver? 2nd round from North Dakota State. Tell me the last big-name player from North Dakota State that has been, oh, yeah, it's not Carnes and up in the air. So sign OBJ. They're not going to, because if I'm OBJ, I'm taking him to the bank too and be like, no, you give Aaron all that money. You can give me that money too.
But hold on, wait a minute now. But Green Bay can't afford him. Green Bay can't afford Odell Beckham because you know how you know that? He came out and said publicly that LA made him an offer and it was a low ball. Now, I don't know what LA offered him. Nobody really knows that. But whatever it was, he rejected it saying it wasn't enough money. So if it wasn't enough money with LA, how's there going to all of a sudden be enough money with Green Bay, even if they could offer him the contract?
On top of that, OBJ is not going to Green Bay for the simple fact that Green Bay Green Bay is an upgraded Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
The only difference is I'll give Aaron Rodgers that he's a way better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. But if OBJ goes to Green Bay, he's essentially going back to the same situation that he left to come to LA for. Because at the end of the day, you don't have the defense, you don't have the offensive line protection. The quarterback is about himself. He wants to be the guy. He wants to be the savior. Now, like I said, granted, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, way levels and levels and levels beyond Baker Mayfield. But still, it's still the same premise. They still have the same attitude. So it's like, why you're basically essentially going backwards. OBJ wants to go to a contender. Green Bay ain't going nowhere.
He going to the Bills. OBJ going to the damn Bills. Everybody knows OBJ going to the Bills. He was on the Bills sideline. They got everything else in place. Hell, Von Miller over there chilling with them, having conversations about the LA Rams days.
Him and Von Miller are really good friends too. On top of that, they're really good friends. So yeah, he's either gonna go to the Bills or the Rams are gonna have to, whatever offer they offered him, they're gonna have to up it. Especially because the person that they brought to replace him for the time that he was out is not doing the job that he was doing when he came. So they're gonna have to.
OBJ has to go with the Bills to be the third option. Chill. Get a few, key receptions here and there, and get his ring because Gabe Davis and Stephon are going to be the primaries. So he just goes in there. He don't have to kill himself and mess up that hamstring again. Just go in there, play your role, and get another ring.
Absolutely, which is what at this particular stage of his career is what he needs, because for so long in the beginning of his career, he was the guy that was out there killing himself, trying to make something happen on those garbage Giants teams. So now, like you said, Jay, sit back in the cut, collect your couple million, get you some catches, up your yardage, up your total touchdowns for your career, and get you another ring, my boy, and sit back with your feet up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What a time to be alive.
Right. So we'll move on to our next topic, who, ironically enough, is a true all-time great, who's been to multiple Super Bowls, have multiple Super Bowl dubs and rings to show for it. And that's our boy down in Tampa Bay. TB is struggling right now. Now,
that's an understatement, but yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. And Jay, like you said, what a time to be alive. That if I would have told you like 4 months ago that, hey, by week 6, almost week 7 of the NFL season, that Green Bay and Tampa Bay are going to be at 500, and both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are both going to be playing like mediocre, average quarterbacks, would you have believed me?
Yeah, I would not believe you, because the fact that the Jets beat the Pack and the Steelers with Trubisky and Pickup as a group quarterback-nominated team took out Tom Brady. No, I would never believe that ever in my life.
I'm pretty sure we did like most of the people in Vegas that betted on Brady and Tampa.
You know what I want to do? I want to be that guy that just, like, maybe Tom Brady's dad. I don't know, somebody's in a circle. I want to be the guy that goes to Tom and say, look, Tom, I know you want another ring. I know you can't just leave it alone and go out and just fade into the distance. I know you can't do that. But, Bubba, let me tell you something. Let me tell you where you're at in your life. You're with a team that is at 500, 3-3 right now. You're not looking good. You're not playing good. Your team's not playing good. They're not going to get a Super Bowl. Let's just be realistic, Tom. They're not going to get a Super Bowl. But at the very least, you're about to be divorced from your wife. Why don't you go back to the one thing that you could probably win at, maybe save, and just enjoy her for a while? Because you're not going to get it here, guy.
That's the thing. He should have stayed. He should have stayed retired. That's just what it is. They're as their team is currently constructed, they're not a team that's going to contend in that division and be at the top of that division, because Tom Brady, he had his miracle run already. You had the miracle run. You left the Patriots. You proved to Belichick that you could win a Super Bowl without him. You had that. Really, you could have retired then. Like, you could have just walked off into the sunset then, and it's over and done. Like, you have 7 Super Bowls. A lot of these quarterbacks that you like are not gonna get one. You got 7 of them. Like, you're good, my guy. Like, he should have stayed retired, because the thing of it is, like, I'm sorry, I feel Giselle. Like, dude, I'm over here literally manning everything, the house, the kids. Like, I would like a break myself. Like, why do I? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot to ask of one person.
Oh,
and she's been doing that for a very, very long time.
Now, hold on, Sensei.
It's nothing like
Hold
a
on.
female.
Sensei. Look, Sensei.
He's right.
This is Zell Buchanan or Bhutan. Look, she got so much damn money. Trust me, honey. She chilling and she micromanaging the nannies that are raising them kids. I promise you that much.
And that's fine.
She got the nannies. I promise you.
That's fine. But if we've made an agreement, which from what it sounds like as far as the premise of
I agree. Trust me.
The agreement was after a certain time, you're gonna retire and we're gonna be a family. Basically be a family. Because think about it, like obviously they've been a family, quote unquote, but it's like there's a lot of sacrifice that has to be made because this is a guy who is a perfectionist. He's a Kobe-esque mentality kind of guy. Like this is a dude that his whole life is football. So it's like what was the point of coming back? Like Tom Brady is smart. He knew this team wasn't built for the long run. He knew that. So what are you coming back for? What are you coming back for?
Can I point out?
And where's the excuse? Because last time I checked, Godwin was there, Evans was there, Fournette was there. I mean, it's not like he didn't have the people. The only one that he was really missing, which probably is an a viable thing, is a security blanket and Gronkowski. I think Gronkowski not having him there really, really affected Tom's game.
That's true. I give you that.
Especially with Brady going out on the stretcher, that certainly didn't help Tom.
You know who Tom reminds me of right now, and a lot of people may or may not hate me for it. Do y'all remember? Was it about 11 years ago? There's this old quarterback, played for like 20 something years, played for technically 4 teams in the NFL. Man's name is Brett Favre. And how did Brett Favre end his career? On a sad Minnesota team that ended like 6-10, and he went out in the worst possible way an all-time great could go. And Tom Brady is headed down that same exact path. He may not be injured. I don't know if Tampa Bay is going to be as bad as 6-11, 5-12, anything like that. But he is headed down that same exact road of you were an all-time great, and it is starting to show that your time playing football is done. You should have went out on a semi-high note of you faced the eventual Super Bowl champions in a good game. They got you. You can end on a high note with that. But I do got to ask all of y'all though, and whoever wants to go first can. Who's to blame? Because obviously the first thing is majority of Tampa Bay is hurt. However, there's a lot of teams hurt that are still doing better than this, that are still winning even though they're hurt. And, last Sunday against Pittsburgh, they still had Fournette, they still had Evans, they still had Godwin. They still have a lot of that defense. So who's to blame in this? Ron, I saw you.
Hey, Ron wanted to go. He was waving it like he was freaking what's his name from Revenge of the Nerds.
I'm ready.
Horseshack. That's what I'm thinking. You were waving your hand like Horseshack from Looking Back Carter. That's what I was thinking of. Continue. Y'all don't even know who that is. That's all old school. Maybe Tony remembers Welcome Back Carter.
I figured you would do like Tracy Edwards running from Dahmer's apartment type deal, but
no, he'd have to have one handcuff on. I don't know if he had. Ron, you got some handcuffs over there. You look like a pinky type. It is happy hour.
It is. He definitely been like, I got some drinks back at my house, Ron. I'm like,
hey, you got the little Asian boy with the handcuff.
I do like to drink.
Hey, this is after dark, so you get what you get. Go ahead.
Let me take a shot before I break this down.
Yeah, go ahead. Bust it out.
Brady's depression. Why is he not playing in Miami or San Francisco right now?
Miami would have been a beautiful spot for him.
Why didn't I go to Miami again?
Mm-hmm.
I understand why
he really should have gone to Miami.
Yeah.
Last Friday, he went to Bill's wedding. He didn't go to warm-ups. He didn't go film study with the team. He's like, I'm done with y'all. Let's get to the team. He lost his family for this, y'all. Only person I'll give respect is Mike Evans, who's out here with them hands. Out here.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback.
I don't think he could go to Miami. I think contractually, even though he came out of retirement, I think contractually he was still bound to Tampa. I don't think that was a whole contractual thing that was going on with Miami while they're in hot water was for tampering. So he's still contractually bound to Tampa no matter what. But he could have gone to Tampa and said, "Let's work out a trade." I don't know.
I can say, that was probably his best option. He could have been like, "Look, I'm gonna do one more year. I want to go to Miami. Let's see what we can get." Obviously, Tom's not. You can get. And if I was Tom, I'd be like, "Look, y'all ain't gonna get a whole lot for me. Maybe Super Bowl, maybe you don't." But it's like if I'm Miami, like, nah, you ain't getting no more than a first-round pick out of us because we know we got Tom for one season. I ain't giving you up to future for one season.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Hell no.
How likely is it that we see a trade between Tampa Bay and Miami for the deadline? 0?
Yeah, not now.
Hey, can I just say we should all be happy? We should all be happy for Robert Kraft. I mean, honestly, that man found true love. At 82, marrying that 37-year-old little Dana.
Didn't say get him.
Look, that man found true love. Literally, you can see the sparkle in his eye and her eye. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a couple more in love and more compatible.
Wait, who's this couple again?
I don't know her last name. It's Dana somebody.
It's Dana Kraft now.
Oh, listen. Shout out to 86. Shout out. She's how old?
He's 86. She 37.
No, he's 82. He's 82. She's 37.
Yeah, and they got married this past weekend, which is where Tom went to, was their wedding.
Shout out to Sis for securing the bag. I'm not mad at
it. Man, listen.
The bag, baby. Get that insurance policy, sister. I'm not mad at it, okay?
Listen, can I put a prediction out there? And I think we can go to Vegas on this. I'm going to give Robert Kraft 1.5 years because I think he takes it slow at first. But I give him 1.5 years with this Dana girl, and he's gonna be under the dirt because she's gonna put that feminine wilds on him, and he ain't gonna handle it.
I was gonna say she got an appointment. She got an appointment on Wednesday with the lawyer to get the will changed. She already got the appointment with the lawyer.
Listen, and I honestly, and I'm not mad, sis. I'll ride down there with you. Get the bag, sister. I'm not mad at it.
Hey, I ain't mad. If Jerry Jones came up to me right now with the ring, I'd be like, "Shit, I'm Mrs. Jones."
What? And you've seen Jerry Jones and his work. He be around them young women too. They know what they doing. Mm-hmm. They know what they doing. Yep. That's an easy bag, ma'am. Get the bag. I'm not mad at it at all. Get the bag, sister. Generations for the rest of your life is gonna be set up because you played the perfect card. You went to Vegas and you cashed out, and I'm not mad at it.
Tony, it sounds like one of my favorite shows. Somebody get married to Kim Viserys, and I heard she was great at massages. John Suggs in the comment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she worked at a. So Deshaun's invited to the wedding. That's what we're saying.
Oh God, this is really ASAP After Dark. Yikes! Yikes!
Wow. Hey, listen. Woo!
The low blows on this show are wow.
Since we're talking about relationships, can I play Love Doctor really quick? Because y'all were just talking about this. Tom Brady and his wife.
Yeah.
If you want to make your relationship happy, work, not happy, work.
And happy. You got a little happy in there too.
Do not try to take something away from your partner that they love. It's plain and simple.
Objection.
Go ahead.
It's not taking it away if you agreed to it, because that's the issue. This is the main factor that everybody's missing, because that was an agreement that they both had. At some point, you're going to give this up so that we can be a family. You can be around. You can be a father to your child. If you go against that, then I have every right to do whatever it is that I see fit. You went against the agreement. A marriage is a partnership, is it not?
It is.
So if we shook hands and
I don't know. Listen, America has changed over the years, girl. America, look, it used to be a partnership. Now I don't know what it is. It's all kinds of things.
It's whatever Robert Kraft and that masseuse got going on.
Hey, listen.
Exactly. But I mean,
she's right. It is a partnership. It
that
just,
doesn't apply to Tom Brady and Giselle because they got married when they were still with the partnership.
Yeah, this
So.
is a power
oh
couple.
man, that's true though. Damn, she's
I
right.
side
Oh,
with you, Sensei, because this is a power couple. This is a power couple.
Yeah, this is a power
They got
couple that's been
rules.
together for a really long time. Like they've been, you know what I'm saying? They've been together for quite some time. So it's like I'm saying, Giselle pretty much stopped being a model full time to be a support to Tom Brady. So it's like
and she still got more money than Tom.
No, she still has money. I'm not saying she's broke. I didn't
No, she got more money than Tom. That's the funny thing about it. She got more money than Tom.
I'm saying is, and we, the money is cool, but I'm talking about the mental and the emotional support. That's what she's looking for. And Tom Brady cannot provide that because his mental support and his you know what I'm saying.
What you saying, Sensei? The poor boy wasn't enough?
Wow.
The what?
Wow.
The pool boy wasn't enough.
Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm not dealing with JT.
Hey, you go and do the pool boy for so long, and Rico's not. He just can't get it done. I get it, man. You need that doctor love too, man. You need the Dr. Phil or some doctor something in your life. I get it, man.
So what you're saying is the pool boy was scoring more points in the end zone this year than Tom Brady has. That's what
you
you're
know
saying.
what? It could have happened that way.
It could have.
You don't know.
Giselle probably was like, you know what? He's all the way in New England right now. He's playing against Bill Belichick. He's not even thinking about me. Just come through real quick, and then be out.
Let's put it.
I'm pissed.
Let's put it this way. It was 4th and short, and Giselle said, "Go for it. Like go for the first down."
But you won't be doing it with me, Tom.
I think when you look at Tom Brady, he used to be the revered guy, the guy with 7, and he still got 7. Don't get me wrong, but that Tom Brady, in my opinion, just doesn't exist anymore. We get the alternate version of Tom, and I think when you get to the alternate version of anybody, it's time to go because people look at you as the Michael Jordan legendary, and if their last impression of you was a guy that just, like he said, hung around too long and wind up in Minnesota, on a bum ass team. I mean, come on, is that really the way you want to be remembered? You want to be remembered by the New England days and that 1 year with Tampa, and then call it. You're done because it's when you're Tom Brady and he used to be the GOAT, and the only reason they consider you the GOAT is all past accolades and not where you currently are now. And the current present day GOAT would be somebody like a Mahomes and Allen, whatever. It's time to call it a day.
Now we got to start arguing.
What you got, Ron?
Look, if I see another Rocky film, Rocky, you're 86. Go ahead and retire, damn it.
You're out of line. You're out of line.
What you got, Ron?
First of all, look, I love the unscripted background and Halloween's riding around the corner. He looks like a ghost going in and out. Jay, when can we catch unscripted?
Hey, man, it's every Tuesday, Thursday at 7, Saturday at 8. All times Eastern, man. Those 3 days out of the week.
Enough. Man. Back to our argument. I feel like all of y'all have to agree with me. We have to give Tampa Tom until it's a 18-week season now.
Yeah.
Yep.
13, the last stretch. I don't feel like he's trying. He has another level. He's not holding it in the pocket. He's like playing I don't want to get hit ball. And that's why he's going crazy on his O-line. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they're not better than Tampa Tom right now. They're more durable and younger and fresher, but I see a world where it's hard where he's not playing in the Super Bowl this year. Especially when we talk about
Tampa Tom, last time I checked, and I think Atlanta's Super Bowl really confirmed it. If you look at the first half anyway, the first half, when you apply pressure to Brady or when the offensive line breaks down and Brady's under pressure, he sucks ass.
Name a quarterback.
But when you take the pressure away, or if Tom's O-line starts to step up, then you see the vintage Brady come out and he'll
be so disrespectful. What's your football team again?
Let's see. I don't know. We're 4-2. But why are you deflecting off the case? Why is it when the point hits you in the forehead, you want to deflect? Why is that
the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history?
Why are you so worried about me? Why are you so wait? Why would I give you a point your immediate reaction is to try to go at my team. You can go at my team all you want. I never said we were great. What has that got to do with where Tom Brady is in his life? The fact that he can't play, the fact that he can't play when he's pressured, and we've seen it time and time again, tells you that Mahomes, even if you put him under pressure, even Allen under pressure can still give you something that Tom can't do. And you want to sit there on your little high horse with your bandana at the hour, Woodford Reserve, and you want to come at me and Tony and say with this nonsense. You know what? 2 hours at the Tennessee mortuary is where you're going.
So
answer a 40-page questionnaire.
Shout out Damian Hernandez. I miss him in the morning. He said Jay's disappearing like Cooper Rush's hot streak. I asked because I'm like, where is this hate coming from? Like,
it's not hate. Wait a minute. Why is it hate? No, hold on. I want you to define hate because I never hate.
I have it.
I'm
a Rams fan.
No, I'm pointing out Tom's weaknesses. I'm pointing out Tom's weaknesses, and you take the fact that I'm pointing out the weaknesses, which are valid arguments, and you're turning it around and saying that it's hate. But look, you had three productive wide. No, you had Godwin. You had Evans, you had Fournette that could catch out of the backfield, and the best he could do was what, 246 and a touch? That's the best he could do with those weapons.
Y'all
did better.
Y'all are missing the whole bucket. It's because Giselle said she's leaving. That's why he's playing trash, because Giselle said
and then Giselle's leaving. Oh my God. So imagine this, Sensei. Hey, imagine this, Sensei. Imagine you used to be this goat, and then you just took the beating of a lifetime, and now you're depressed. No, watch it, Sensei. You're depressed. You're depressed, right? You're angry. You're depressed at your life. Then you go home and realize there's no Giselle there, and then you got to look at Pornhub to get your rocks off, and that's your life. What a time to be alive! I'm just saying, what a time to be alive.
That's the theme of the show. What a time to be alive.
Bring up John's comments, Tony.
Huh?
Tony, put up John's comments.
Hey, listen. Hey, Tom, go get some mental help. Just don't do nothing
crazy. Nothing else.
Hey, he gotta pull what was brother's name who retired at halftime? Vernon Davis. He gotta pull one of them. Just retire at halftime.
Vontae Davis.
Or does he go Antonio Brown and just take off the pads? Throw down the gloves.
I would pay cash money dollars to see Tom Brady do an Antonio Brown. I'm talking cash.
Oh my God. Hey, I would pay cash money to see him do an Antonio Brown through the end zone and then wind up 2 days later in a pool at Dubai with his wanger in his hand, saying, hell with it. Let the money drop.
Time go for it, man.
Oh, Ricky's so disrespectful.
Rich people problems.
No, for real.
It really is. But we'll move on to our next topic.
I like this topic. I thought that was a pretty damn good topic.
Oh, this is a great topic.
About relationships, teamwork, everything.
He said you don't know the pressure.
Massage parlors.
$54 million.
But we'll talk about, unfortunately, last night's game that
Jay man, do we have to go there? Do we have to go
I know.
there?
I really didn't want to talk about this, but I know we got to.
Yes, we do.
Hey, no, because you know why? This is where Sensei is going to hurt my feelings. This is where Sensei is going to hit me with a plate I try not to go.
So Jay, so I want to go first real quick because obviously
Tony, please.
This is Jay and I's team. And Jay, you're probably going to give me a little bit of some weird looks, but I wonder if you'll agree with me a little bit. So, to me, this was a humbling experience for Dallas last night. And I want to use the word humbling because think about all the Cowboys fans that are like enamored with Cooper Rush right now. And the fact that he, was 5-0, and the fact that he, led Dallas to 4-1, which again, albeit impressive as all hell. I ain't upset that Cooper Rush got us to 4-1. But then it was like, oh, we got a quarterback controversy because Cooper Rush is better than Dak. Hold on. Now, there is a stat that I think Dak Prescott since like 2017 is like 500 overall and has a losing record against winning teams, which hurts a lot. But if Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy can stick to this formula that they had with Cooper Rush of we're not going to throw for 400 yards. We don't need to. We have a balanced run game that is working. Dak has a better arm, is a bigger athlete than Cooper Rush, and can make some more plays than he can. And this Dallas team is going to be even better with Dak back. So to me, I'm kind of happy they were humbled a little bit. They managed to come back in the third quarter because I ain't gonna lie. When I saw it was 20-0 at halftime, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going back to watch this unless something changes. I ain't going back to watch this because this is just ugly. I don't want to see this." So I'm, like I said, it's humbling. It sucks. I hate to see that this happened to them, but like we've kind of talked about all season. Philly is a good team so far. They're starting to show some cracks, though, because if you think about it, last week, Arizona almost had them. And then, Dallas was close last night until Cooper Rush decided he wanted to give them the ball again. And the fact that even though they could have potentially, gotten closer, Cooper Rush and them had the speed of Robert Kraft getting it up for his new wife. So we was going to be waiting a long time for this to happen. But that's my big thing is it's humbling. I hope Dak is able to come back. And again, I hope Kellen Moore stays with this balanced run game, control the clock. Don't make Dak go out there and throw it, 30 plus times for 400 yards. They don't win that way. It's awesome he can put up the glory numbers. They don't win that way. They can't win that way. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I'm not too far off from where you are, honestly, Tony, with that. When I thought of Cooper Rush, I think of a guy that is a really, really good backup quarterback. I think of him as a guy that can buy you time and be competitive while Dak really gets fully healthy. Because the one thing I don't want is Dak to come back on a halfway, whatever thumb, give us a subpar performance because he can't grip the ball like the way he needs to, and we still lose anyway. Or he comes back and then he just gets re-injured because he didn't give himself enough time. So either one of those scenarios is not good enough to bring him back early. So my thought process was with Cooper Rush, well, hell, if he could just keep us 500 or maybe the game above 500 when Dak does come back, I'll take that as a win. I'll take it as a win all day long. And the fact that we were 4-1 going into today, we did take the hit. Again, my expectations for the Eagles game wasn't necessarily to get the win, even though I hope for the win. My expectation for this game was just to be competitive and make it a close game with the Eagles, because I felt like when Dak does come back, he can do his two bits. And it's hard for the Cowboys to beat an Eagles team when Cooper's giving you 3 interceptions, and most of those interceptions came within the Dallas Cowboys less than 40-yard line. So they're already damn near, or they're already pretty much in field goal, position when they get the interception. All they got to do is go a few more, either get the field goal or the touchdown. And in some cases, the Cowboys defense did a pretty good job. They gave up 2 touchdowns, 1 to Smith, I think, or they gave up 3. I think 1 to Smith. I think they gave up 2 to Brown, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day,
where was Micah?
Hey, would you be quiet and listen? Okay. You're talking too much. I need you to hold on a minute. I need you to enjoy that happy hour. Pick that bottle up, bring it to the lips, and relax. Otherwise, put it in the mail, put it overnight, and I'll drink it tomorrow. Anyway, either way, relax. No, but for real, no. Hey, look, at the end of the day, you take away those 3 picks and this 26-17, and I think if Dallas is there, maybe Dak does give up 1 pick. But if he only gives up 1 pick, I think this 26-17 looks a lot different for the fact that Elliott was able to run for 81, a little over 4 yards, a touchdown. Pollard did a pretty good job. Their running game was on point. They sacked Hurts, I believe it was, 4 times? So they got to Hurts, and trust me, it might not have been Parsons getting there, but they got to Hurts. And so I think when you bring in a healthy Dak, there's going to be a revenge game on this. You know that. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see them again with a healthy Dak. And when we get to that point, we're going to be able to do what we need to do, and we're not out of it. We're not out of this by any stretch. And I'm going to tell you right now, we got Detroit we got to play against, and I think the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but our next game is Detroit Packers, and then we get a bye week. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I don't bring Dak back right now. I bring Dak back after the bye week. I think we play with Cooper Rush against Detroit. We play him against the Packers because we saw what the Jets did against the Packers. We saw what Carson or Wilson, whatever the name, Zach Wilson did against. So we know that they can beat the Packers. We know that they can beat the Lions. I'm not worried about either two of those two teams with the Cooper Rush-led offense. And I think you bring back Dak after the bye week. That gives him 3 more weeks of healing. And then we battle after the bye week for that, either the number 1 spot or the wild card. And then we take it at the revenge game.
Okay. Ron Sensei, who wants to go next on your thoughts about what, do you still think Philly is the team to beat? Because I mean, really, they're kind of doing the same schematic as Dallas. Running the ball really well. You have a great dual threat in Jalen Hurts. They can throw it if they need to because they do have Brown, they do have Smith, and they do have Goddard at tight end, and their defense is playing outstanding. So really, it's can you stop the Eagles from running? Because really at that point, then you're going to get Jalen Hurts in a little bit of a tough spot because he's going to have to throw more. And again, like Dallas, like Jay said, they got 4 sacks. Now, again, Parsons wasn't there, but that Parsons is kind of like, like think about the Texans for the longest time. They had J.J. Watt. Like really all you had to do was double team J.J. Now he may or may not still get to you, but just because you have to double team J.J. means these other guys have an opportunity to feast because of that, which is basically what Micah Parsons brings to this defense. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the Eagles, neutralizing Parsons in that manner, but really showing that they're still the team to beat right now?
I think that the Dallas Cowboys had their Jeremy Lin moment, their Linsanity moment. Because you know how when Linsanity when he came onto the scene and he had that, it was like what, 5 or 6 game stretch where he was just like dropping 30 on everybody, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this guy could be the next play in New York City point guard." And listen, the thing about sports media is we are all prisoners of the moment. The Cooper Rush thing was only going to last for so long because there's only so long you can game manage before you're going to have to be a quarterback for the entirety of the game. And we saw that him having to be a quarterback for the entirety of the game against the Eagles was partially why they lost. It wasn't the full reason. I'm not going to put it all on him, but it's definitely a major reason as to why they lost because the Eagles made him back pedestrian. They made him brought him back down to earth, if you will. With their defense, getting the interceptions and kind of, like I said, pretty much putting him in the position to say, okay, if you guys want to win this game, you're going to have to be the reason why. Like, you're going to have to beat us. And he showed that he's not capable of doing that. Now, as far as Dak Prescott goes, I'm with Jay. If I'm the Cowboys, I don't bring him back these next 2 weeks because I feel like with Cooper Rush, you guys could still squeak off wins against the Detroit Lions and against the Packers. So Dak doesn't really need to come back for those games. So I'm gonna agree with Jay there. But when Dak does come back, because let's not, and this is kind of the dilemma that I'm having, and I guess Tony and Jay, you can maybe help me on this, is when Dak does come back, what exactly what is the expectation? Because let's not act like Dak Prescott has been leading y'all deep into the playoffs the past couple of years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been pretty much the same trajectory every single year since he's taken over the helm for the Cowboys. So when he comes back, what's the expectation? Are we giving him grace because of the broken hand, of the broken thumb? Are we having the expectation that he's going to get you past the first round? Like, what exactly, maybe winning the division under the Eagles at the end of the season? Like, what is exactly is the prediction that you guys have once Dak does come back? And what is a feasible time that you guys think that Dak should come back?
I mean, I agree with Jay. You've done well with Cooper Rush. You're relying heavily on your defense and a very balanced run game. And again, you're making Cooper Rush be a game manager. You're going up against Detroit, who has one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. They're 32nd ranked. So you're going to have a chance to be okay in that regards. And honestly, the Detroit Lions played like crap the last couple of weeks. They got shut out by New England, and then they were on the bye this past week. So not really worried about Detroit. And then, of course, Green Bay can't really move the ball either. And defensively, they're still a little bit suspect. I would bring him back after the bye, let him be completely healthy, make sure that there's no, major possibility of re-injuring himself. because the biggest thing I compare it to right now is look at Russell Wilson, and even in the Broncos game currently, Russell Wilson has not been the same since that hand and thumb injury, maybe it was thumb or forefinger injury last year. He hasn't been the same so far with the Broncos. He's played like crap. Now that could also be coaching, but that's a whole nother topic. I see Dak at least being able to lead us into the playoffs, depending on how Philly is able to do with their next 3 games. Because John brought up he thinks they'll win their next 3, and their first loss will be at the Colts, which is very possible. I think Philly will win the division, and I think Dallas secures a wild card spot. Now, that'll also kind of depend on what the Giants are able to do, because right now the Giants aren't the most, they're not the most talented team, but they're very well coached. Brian Daboll has done a fantastic job his first year with New York and managed to make, Daniel Jones not look like Daniel Jones of old so far. So they're doing okay. I think Dak is still good enough. And I mean, you have to think about it. He has a phenomenal record against the NFC East. He's like 9-2 or 10-2 against the Giants. He is, I think, like 10-1 against the Commanders, and I think he's about the same, if not, a little bit less against the Eagles. So he knows how to beat the NFC East. So that will be good enough to at least get them in a wild card spot.
Yeah, me personally, I see Detroit and Chicago, both teams easily beatable by Cooper Rush. And then I see them, then they get the bye week in 9, and then week 10, they play the Pack, and we know the Jets beat the Pack. And I think that's the perfect game if Dak Prescott, is up to snuff, and the medical team has him up to snuff, and he can grip the ball like he needs to. I see that as a perfect tune-up game to the Vikings coming up, because they got the Vikings after that, and then they got New York. So I think the expectation for Dak would be for the Green Bay game to be the tune-up game, see where he's at, see how he's doing, and then roll into the Vikings, which is going to be their next biggest challenge with that Kevin O'Connell-led offense and things of that nature. I see the Giants as a beatable team because we beat them with Cooper Rush back in the day. And I think with the Dak there, they can do the same. I see the Colts as being another game that can be beat. Yes, they beat the Chiefs, but at the same time, the Chiefs have a weak-ass secondary. So, again, I see them beating them. I see them beating the Texans. Jacksonville could be another test, because we saw what Jacksonville did against the Chargers. And then you get Philly again. And that's the rematch. So I think Dak, between Green Bay and Jacksonville, and then they play them on the day before Christmas. I mean, what better way to get the revenge game than Christmas Eve? Come on. Jesus, what a time to be alive.
Ron, what's your thoughts on this, Ron?
You said Rob. I'm thinking.
No, Ron.
Okay.
He looks so pissed when you said the B versus the N. Oh my God.
I know. My internet's kind of spotty in and out at the moment, so it maybe sounded like I said Rob. I promise. I said Ron. I wouldn't disrespect you like that.
I don't know.
He's about to jump to the screen.
I've been drinking maybe a little too much today. I thought we were on the morning show. I'm like, Rob's on here? Shout out to Rob 2 cents.
Put that safety vest on. Time to go back to work.
I got lost in the sauce, guys. The NFC lease conversation kind of dreamed me out, but I have a couple thoughts.
Wait a minute. Take that back. I'm not gonna let you go further than that. How you gonna say the least when we got the only undamned defeated team in the league, and the guy behind him only has 1 loss? Come on,
Sensei. You see that? Jay is taking pride in a team that just whipped his squad's arse.
Yes.
I am from Philly. Oh my gosh. I was overwhelmed. I'm just like, y'all, it's week 6. It's week 6. Y'all do know we got to go back to Dallas. I honestly, next team, feel like this could be the Giants' division to win. Thirdly, I feel like the Cowboys is making a very bad decision.
Man, that was so powerful, that statement. My pen exploded. I cannot believe that.
I'm in love with Saquon Barkley. I feel like as long as he stays healthy, oh my gosh. And I'm not going to sleep on the Washington C words because they have a good team, and I'm still waiting for D lineman Chase Daniels, right? Chase Young.
Oh,
yeah,
Chase Young.
He'll be returning any second now, and they're 2-4. Some of the best teams in the NFC is 3-3. Oh, Tony, where are you going?
Ron, the Washington Commanders have the same record right now as the Denver Broncos, who just lost to the Chargers, by the way. The Broncos are 2-4, have significantly better talent than the Commanders. And the Commanders just lost wins for 4 to 6 weeks.
Hey, just
4 to
so you
6
know,
weeks,
Ron,
they just
just so
lost
you
wins.
understand, he had to intercede. Wait, watch this, Ron. He had to intercede because when you started your rant, we were at 7 viewers. And when you got to the Commanders, we were at 3.
Wait, they've just lost Carson Wentz.
Just let that sink in for a minute.
He got injured? What happened?
He's injured during the Bears game. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
That could
he's done. He's a hot toast commodity.
That could be a pro. That's not a bad thing. It's not.
Hey, Heineke's coming in. I love a quarterback that sounds like beer.
Heineken's back?
Heineken's back.
Heineken is back, baby.
The ignorance got receivers, running backs, tight ends. Yeah. Come on, Heineken. Yeah.
Hey, you know why? Hey, I have a theory about the Commanders. You know why they are in such a predicament and have been for so long, like decades long, is because of Snyder. And I believe in karma. Sensei, I don't know if you believe in karma. Ron, I don't know if you believe in karma.
I definitely believe in karma, for sure.
But I'll tell you, that Daniel Snyder karma is thick. Oh my God, it's thick. Hey.
And I ain't gonna lie, Jay, even as a Dallas fan, I was kind of excited for Washington at one point, like the last couple of years, because I was like, man, they're going to get a new name. I thought, man, they're really wanting to put a lot of time, a lot of effort into this. They got Ron Rivera, who I thought was a great hire. They won the NFC East with a great defense. Gave Tampa Bay a run for the money. I was like, man, this Washington's going to turn around. They're going to be a rival for Dallas to go up against. And I ain't gonna lie, I was so happy if they were going to be called the Red Wolves. I was like, man, y'all could have like a gray uniform. Y'all could do a howl in the end zone whenever y'all score. Y'all could do like a full moon concept. And then what did Washington do? Washington and Dan Snyder pulled a Washington move, and they said, you know what? We're going to go back to like Madden 07. We're going to get a logo from that generated game. We're going to get a generic ass Madden 2K name of the Commanders, and this is how we're going to call ourselves, and everything's gone downhill since. You have 4 first-round picks on your team in Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. You have Holcomb, who has been fantastic in your linebacker core. You have Terry freaking McLaurin as your number 1 wide receiver, and y'all are 2-4, commanding the bottom of the NFC East.
Barrel, baby. They're barrel. You know, like when you go get fajitas and they put the skillet in front of you and you eat all the good stuff, and then the only thing that's left at the bottom of the pan is that sludge that the really good onions are cooked in.
Yep.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders are that sludge that's left over. I'm just saying, they're the sludge of the fajita world. God, what a time to be alive. Jesus. And by the way, Daniel Snyder, how much of an idiot, I don't know who's running your PR world over there, but y'all are idiots. You know, Washington, D.C. is a historical town, and you give yourself this whack-ass Walmart generic, Diet Dr. K name called the Commanders. What an idiot you are. You could have called yourself the Red Tails, tied it into the Tuskegee Airmen, been a part of the Black Lives Movement, and instead you fucked them. God, what a time to be alive.
So tell you what, here's what we'll do. We'll reach out to Washington. We'll see if he'll come and do that little stay with us.
Ron's over there thinking like, I need more of this cognac.
I'm done for the night. How much more you got, Tony?
We got one more. We got our last topic, and we could be kind of quick about it.
Hey, but Ron, you agree with that. Ron, you agree with that theory, though. Would you agree? Honestly, you agree with that? That he chose the most generic name possible to name a football team?
Just stop, Jay. Just stop. I would put you on the stage with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tonight and give that same rant. Yeah. I can't do it. Yeah.
And real
man, what a time to be like. Tony, what we got next? Oh, Anderson. Oh, shit.
Yeah. The last one, which is kind of the biggest one that I think surprised everybody, or at least surprised me. Robby Anderson traded to the Arizona after loss yesterday and had nice word for his wider Carolina. And Steve Wilkes said, "Nah, man, you're out." Less than 24 hours, he said goodbye. So, Sensei, I'll start with you. Now Arizona is getting D-Hop back. They'll have Robby Anderson. AJ Green is still there. He hasn't produced so far this year, but he's still there. So does this give Arizona a chance, or do you think Robby Anderson's just going to be that journeyman wide receiver? You know who he kind of reminds me of right now with some of this? A little bit of like Brandon Cooks. Like he has the talent to be a great receiver, and he just keeps getting passed around every 10 seconds like a different team. He's with the Jets, didn't really work. With the Panthers, didn't really work. Can he make it work with essentially a real quarterback?
Yeah,
now he doesn't have Darnold and he doesn't have Baker, so now he gets Murray.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, we have to kind of consider the source as it pertains to him, because he hasn't really had a fair shot to play with a quarterback that can really maximize what he does well. So I think with going to Arizona and playing with Kyler Murray, I think that's going to be the ultimate test to see what kind of receiver he really is. Because now, like you said, he's playing with a real quarterback who can actually get him the ball and who's actually accurate enough to make things happen. I think Arizona may be a sleeper team just with who they're getting back, and then adding him. I think they could definitely be a sleeper team. We got to obviously see how it looks when they put it all together, and they're probably going to need a couple games at least to make everything click. But I mean, they've been squeaking by wins so far just with what they have. But I think, getting that elite talent back and then adding him, I think they'll be in the top, the running for the top like 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams in the league now. It still remains to be seen what they do in the playoffs, because we have seen Arizona do great in the regular season before and crash and burn in the playoffs. So that's still yet to be seen. But that's definitely a team to be on the lookout for, though, for sure. And Kyler Murray, he got quite a bit to prove, because he got a lot of money from the Arizona Cardinals. So
did he have?
A lot is on those shoulders. So he gotta show and prove. But I definitely think Arizona could for surely be a super team with Robby Anderson, and then, like you said, getting D-Hop back.
Yeah, for sure. Ron, what's your take? Do you think this was kind of like warranted? Like, do you really think, he got into it with his coach? He's obviously upset. The team is going down the toilet worse than Washington is. Like, they are a terrible franchise. They're not well run. And
I'll just stop you. It says more about the Panthers and less about Robby Anderson. I'm freaking pissed that one of the freaking most feared teams in my division, top 10 quarterback, got Robby Anderson, who's just a crazy deep threat. Pair it with Hollywood Brown, pair it with Zach Ertz, pair it with a great run game, pair it with freaking Hawkins coming back. Ugh, the Rams are already struggling. That's it.
Okay. Jay, what's your take? Like I said, was this merited? I mean, like he's passionate. He got upset. It's like, hey, why I'm supposed to be the star wide receiver and you're not putting me in there. Like, what happened?
Yeah. Are you talking? I'm sorry. Are you talking about Robby Anderson?
Yep.
Yeah. My thing about that whole trade thing is, okay, so they lost Marquise Brown. They lost Hollywood Brown to injury.
He's out for the year.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how far he's done, but he's done. He ain't playing right now. That was the whole premise. That was the whole premise of bringing in Robby Anderson in, was because Brown got hurt. And they do get D-Hop, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but they get D-Hop back next game.
Yep.
So right now it would be D-Hop, Green, and then the third option, or excuse me, it would be D-Hop, Anderson, Green. It would have been D-Hop and then Brown, Green. I think Anderson is not a bad pickup, but he is not better than Marquise Brown. So I don't know how much it's going to help necessarily the Cardinals, to be truthfully honest with you, especially when Kyler Murray is only giving you what? They went up against Seattle, for crying out loud, and they gave you 6, and he took 6 sacks, a pick, 237, and 2 interceptions on 2 touchdowns. So, and of course, Kyler Murray is a run guy, just like Lamar Jackson. They're almost cut from the same damn cloth. So when the guy's running 100 yards on 7 carries, he's almost a better running back than he is a quarterback. So again, I'm not saying that Robby Anderson can't be helpful, but I don't think this Cardinals team as a whole collective unit is going to do any better in the division in which they're in. I mean, honestly, I'm not really – when I look at the Cardinals, I don't see a winner, especially when they lost to the Seahawks, man, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that Seahawks loss was definitely a bad loss on their season. But like I said, I think with getting everybody back and then adding Robby Anderson, I think that definitely makes them a better team. Like I said, it remains to be seen once they put it all together. And I do think that they're going to need like at least 2 to 3 games before we really see what they can do at max capacity. But I definitely think that this makes them better. That makes them a better football team for sure, because this clears up a lot of the holes that they were missing, like that they are missing. I'm sorry, as a team currently constructed. But like I said, they still have to prove it in the playoffs because we've seen this movie before. So.
Yeah, we have. And I think the Vikings are looking pretty damn tough. The Eagles are looking pretty damn tough. For some reason, Dable, who if he doesn't get rookie coach of the year, I'd be surprised. But the Giants are looking pretty good. And again, when Dak comes back to the Cowboys, we'll have to see, what version of the Cowboys we get. But they could potentially do something. So, yeah, the Cardinals. Again, I think another issue with the Cardinals is their running game. I'm not completely sold on that running game either. I think when Kyler Murray is your top rusher against Seattle, to me that screams there's a problem. And I'm wondering if they don't try to make a move on a CMC that we know clearly, they're listening to offers for over in Carolina and what that could do for an Arizona Cardinals team.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it has been a fantastic show. Appreciate everybody coming out. Jay, thank you for being on. Sensei,
Yes,
of course, as always, we loved having you back, loved having you on. Ron, as always, the man himself, helping carry the show. Appreciate you being on with me, brother. Jay, you want to give a shout out? I know you talked a little bit about it as far as you being on Unscripted. Just tell us where we can find you, man. Tell us when everybody on ASAP can catch you if they want to see more Jay McLevin content.
Jesus, as long as you're not the IRS or a former ex-wife, please don't come looking for me because Daddy done paid all the bills and I got $4.99 to my name, and that's about what a bottle of NyQuil costs to get me through the rest of the day. Listen, like Tony said, and again, Tony, thank you for having me on this evening, man. It was a lot of fun. I love hanging out with you guys and talking, especially Ron. I'm always looking for a good couch with Goodwill. Please let me know and tag me as sold. But yeah, man, listen, I love being on here tonight, man. I appreciate you guys. Again, Unscripted, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 Eastern, Saturday, 8 Eastern. And then also, I've been trying to do more appearances now on the Afternoon Blitz with Gonzo and whoever else usually joins Gonzo. Okay. I think that's 1 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday.
Yep. Okay. And then Sensei, of course, give us a shout out where we can find you, ma'am, and of course the rest of our balling out female crew here on ASAP.
Yes, indeed. So you got the Sports Senseis on Tuesdays, as well as From the Ground Up, my own podcast myself, which we come out on Fridays. I do believe me and Ron are supposed to lock in and do a show on his show as well, so make sure y'all stay tuned on that as well. I'm always up and through ASAP, so just you catch me when you catch me because I'm pretty much everywhere at this particular point. But I'm on Facebook, my regular name Alana Trap. I'm also on Instagram Sensei_33. So just be on the lookout, man. We got a lot of stuff coming on the way.
By the way, Tony, I want to point out to you, I told you her ass was Alana, not Elena. He was saying to some girl named Elena, and I'm like, is this a new girl?
At this point, honestly, I'm so used to it being pronounced both ways. I don't even know.
Hey, like, I want you to know.
As long as you don't throw no extra syllables in there, we good.
Hey, listen, I just want you to know who cares the most about you, man. It's this time. I make sure I pronounce your name 20 times.
I appreciate you, Jay.
Love you too, girl.
And then And then Ron, where can we catch you, good sir?
You can catch me right there. But my shout out is to the sensei and Mr. Tony, my fellow Game of Thrones lover. There better not be another week that go by where the people don't get ASAP After Dark, especially during the football season.
A fact. I agree.
Yeah. Especially because season 1 of House of the Dragon is coming to an end this coming Sunday. I know. I'll be so upset. And I guarantee they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger. I'll be so pissed when they do it. Because I'm still going to be back for the second season, damn it. But still. But yeah, man, I appreciate all y'all being on here. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're on Roku, Tiki, Google. We're everywhere that you can find us. Again, thank y'all. We appreciate the love and support. And we will catch y'all tomorrow night about 10 p.m. Eastern. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. And we will see y'all later.
The Chargers almost went down.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.